What's up, horror fans? Pete here from the Lasser Cast, where me and my good friend Dr. Zayas God, Danny Torkel over there, discuss horror movies and streaming shows. So, Danny, this is our 300th episode of the Lasser
Wow.
Cast. Yes. So it's kind of special. I thought we were going to be doing Twin Peaks: The Return, the second half today, but we're doing Scream 7. Reviewing Scream 7. And I don't know if this is going to be a super positive review. It might not be the most fun-filled 300th episode, but it's definitely
I'm
something
gonna
that's
have
in our
fun.
group. You're going to have fun? Okay. I purposely did not watch Danny's review, his 60-second review. I didn't see his post on Facebook, so I don't know if he loved this movie, if he hated this movie. But I'm going to give you the chance, Danny, to give me a little blurb right now to let me know. Reveal it, man.
I walked out of the movie theater legitimately shocked at and the shocking thing was nothing in the movie as much as it was that's the movie we got. I could not believe after all the controversies, after all the politics, after all the casting kerfuffles, um, and bringing in the original writer of the series, the guy who was attached to Scream back when it was called Scary Movie, before Wes Craven ever got involved. This is like horror fans look at the Scream franchise as Wes Craven's baby because he directed the first 4 films. Kevin Williamson wrote the script way before Craven was attached. Just read the great book, what's your favorite scary movie by Ashley Collins, which covers the entire Scream series. Highly recommend that book, by the way. Great book. And for him to come on as the director and for Nev Campbell to come back.
Yeah.
And for them to tease the things that they have done.
Yeah.
For this to be the movie that came out of all of that was utterly shocking to me. And every hour that has gone by since I have seen this, I saw this Thursday night. And I was going to record my short review Thursday night, but I was like, no, I have a lot to do. Like Friday was a really busy day. I was like, let me sleep on it. I knew that I didn't love it. I knew that I didn't like it, but I wasn't sure if I just thought it was fine or if I really didn't like it.
Okay.
And as with every hour that passes, not only do I think I didn't like it, but I think I might hate it. And I think I might officially be done with this franchise. And I want to make it, and I want to make this clear. I am going to be overtly negative in this review. This has nothing to do with the politics and the controversies that are attached to this film. There are plenty. I'm sure we will mention them. I don't agree with a lot of the things that happened. I would have preferred a continuation of the Scream 5, 6 cast and crew. I like the original director attached. I think it was Christopher Landon. I would have liked to have seen what he was going to do with this.
Yeah.
But that did not affect me in any way going into this movie. Sitting in the theater Thursday night, I wasn't sitting there like, oh, I can't wait to fucking hate this movie.
Right.
There was a point where I'll just, without spoiling it, when the reveals happen at the end of this film, I was floored in the most negative way I think I've ever been floored by a reveal in a film. I said in my short review, it might be the lamest reveal, not just in this franchise, but in modern horror history. Like,
Yeah.
I cannot think of something that was more laugh out loud, yelling at the like, I feel like if I had been in a packed theater, I would have heard a lot of people scream out, "Wait, what?"
Right. Right. Right.
And, or
Right.
like, "Huh?"
Right.
It so and I've been talking online with friends who have seen the movie, and we've
Right.
been like asking ourselves questions like, why this?
Right.
How, if you're gonna do this, why not? One of the things Chris and I have talked about is like, if you're going to, I'm just going to say his name. He has been revealed. This is not a spoiler. He has been revealed in the cast for months now. Matthew Lillard, right? If you're going to do that, why not go all the way?
I know.
Why not commit to the bit, right?
Yep.
Um, and I think we should just kind of 6 minutes in, just throw out our like, we're gonna be talking spoilers here. So if you haven't seen Scream 7, come back later, because it's kind of hard to talk about my issues with the movie without bringing up spoilers. My biggest problem overall, before the ending, my biggest problem overall, and then
Yeah.
I want to hear your opinion, because you purposely stayed away from hearing mine until now. What's made the Scream franchise so great
Yeah.
over 30 years
Right.
has not been the main characters. While the main characters are good, but there's
Right.
always been so many great supporting characters.
Sure.
To the point where like we still like Randy Meeks from the original movie is a beloved, one of the most beloved supporting characters in a horror movie in the last 30 years. To the
Yeah.
point where like Scream fans still are annoyed that he got killed off in Scream 2, and like we're happy that he had like a video come back in part 3. Even Scream 4 had, people clamored for the return of Hayden Panettiere, because they loved her supporting character in Scream 4.
Right.
Screams 5 and 6, which are flawed movies, but not bad in any way. They gave us the core four, and it's like the core four was a fun group of characters.
Yep.
Aside from Sydney, no character in this movie is even worth remembering.
Right.
I wrote down, as I always do when we like are gonna deep dive a movie, I write down like the cast list and the characters they played, with
Good.
the exception of her daughter, whose name I only remember because she's named Tatum for a supporting character that we remember. I
Right.
didn't fucking remember a single character's name in this movie. I'm like, Chloe? Hannah? Ben? Who the fuck are these people? Lucas? I
Right.
like literally didn't real like
Yeah.
I yeah. That
Well,
so I think I summed it up pretty, my thoughts overall on the movie, given now that I've had 2.5 days to kind of fester on it.
yeah.
Are you a little more positive than I am?
No, no, I'm not at all.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah. No,
victory.
no, Danny, here's the thing. I saw it, and I saw it with someone that is very forgiving of movies in general, that like finds the positive things in movies, and this is their favorite franchise, right? And you know what? Scream is actually my favorite horror franchise as well. And here's the thing: when people start talking to me, Mike Bongiorno starts asking me, people start asking me questions. Where do you rank this movie? That's the question that always comes up. Out of the 7 movies, where do you rank it? And I was like, okay, Scream 3 is at the bottom. This is right above it. Then last night I'm watching Scream 5, or no, I'm sorry, Scream 6, the one in New York. I'm watching it and I'm like, wait, this is way better than the one I just saw in the theater. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? They have that Parker Posey character in Scream 3. And that's better than anything in this movie that just came out, right?
Yeah.
Scream 7. So I put this at the bottom. I've seen a lot of hate for this movie, but I'm not joining the tidal wave of hate. I have taste. I said this is my favorite franchise. It feels like a hollow thing, right? Now, you said that you didn't want to mention the politics and stuff, but I think it's kind of important. I think there's like two really important issues to talk about here, right? We live in a world where the people our age are going to the theater still, while the people younger than us don't give a fuck about movies at all. So they want to make movies for us. They keep making these legacy sequels where they bring back old characters, they have new young characters. With the last two movies, I agree, they're flawed. They rank low on my screen rankings. But watching those movies again, I'm like, no, I'm okay with a Scream 7 that follows the two Carpenter sisters and Randy's niece and nephew. Like, I'm fine with that. You don't need to have Gale Weathers. You don't have to have Sydney. You know, Dewey's gone, right? So it doesn't matter. But you don't have to keep going back and doing this nostalgia thing. And one of the
can I just like piggybacking on what you just said? When first of all, you said they keep giving us these legacy sequels. It took me until last night because I kept thinking to myself, this movie just reminded, I felt like I had seen this exact movie before, and it finally hit me. I did. This is Halloween 2018.
Yeah. Right.
If you just replace the fact that Laurie Strode is actually the grandmother, and you have Neve Campbell, returning final girl who is traumatized by the events of the past. You have her younger daughter who is in high school with a group of high school friends who are going around and they're talking about what her family's been through. And then all of a sudden, the white-faced, black-suited killer shows back up, and mom and daughter have to work together. I'm like, I fucking saw this movie 7, 8 years ago. And I really liked it then because they had the balls to do something a little bit different there. Now, the sequels, whatever. But yeah, I genuinely felt like, yeah, this is the exact, they are just carving out the template of a movie I've already seen from a different franchise.
Excellent point. I didn't even fucking think of that at all. I mean, but that's the problem, right? Are we so confined to this structure where it's like, you like this thing when you were a teenager? Look, here's the old ass actor now that was older than you when you were a teenager, and they're back and they're going to be in on this action. Versus, like, you like this killer, you like the concept. Here's one thing we need to talk about. I don't think people realize how important the Ghostface phone calls are. Like the interaction between the victim and Ghostface, where he's just mocking them. He's saying all this horrible stuff he's going to do to them. It builds this incredible tension in the scenes where you're like, where's he calling from? Is he right behind this fucking thing? Is he over here? When's he going to jump out? You know, you're just waiting for that line of dialogue where he's going to say something that basically means, I'm going to kill you right now. And they fucking took that out in this movie. They replaced it with AI. We're talking spoilers. AI Matthew Lillard. And the tension is completely taken out. You know?
So, because you just brought it up, let's just talk about the elephant in the room right away. The elephant in the room is that Stu is back, right? So when that casting decision got announced, every single person who is a fan of this franchise said it can only be one of three things. Only. There's only three possibilities. Yeah. Number one, and this is the stupid option. Number one is he really somehow survived part one, has been hiding away for 30 years, and decided after 30 years and multiple other Ghostface attacks to make his grand return and go after Sydney. That would have been stupid and kind of ridiculous.
Yep.
Most people online, on social media, all predicted, I wonder if it's going to be something with AI. I wonder if it's going to be something deep fake.
Right.
And if literally everyone can guess that from a casting decision,
Right.
Don't make the fucking casting decision. I'm
Right.
sorry. I love Quentin Tarantino. Unlike Quentin Tarantino, I enjoy Matthew Lillard's work.
It's
And you know
fantastic.
what? And you know what? He did not need to be in this movie. He
Not at all.
added nothing to the movie.
Right.
As a Scream fan since 1996, it has. I do you know anyone, including the person you saw this movie with, who also likes this franchise, who's been sitting around going, "Man, I really need Stu Macher back." No.
No.
So it came across as the other option, by the way, is I thought maybe they would do like a Randy and Scream thing, Scream 3 thing, where they find this like videotape of Stu, like plot, that he made back in like 1996, talking about why he's doing the original murders, and maybe
Right.
somehow these killers are attached to him in some way. Because
Right.
one of the things, and you mentioned this with Ghostface, one of the things that the trailers tease this, and Ghostface teases this at the beginning of the movie, is that this is almost going to be like a super personal Ghostface killer.
Right.
Not the rapper from
Wu-Tang Clan?
Wu-Tang, yeah.
Yeah.
That this is going to be a, like, he's burning the Mocker house down. He's going after Sydney's daughter and husband. This is going to be like the most personal attack she's ever dealt with. And spoiler alert, it becomes not that, the least personal attack. A collective, wait, who the fuck?
Right.
When the reveals happen, to the point where you're like, huh?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
and there's no attachment to Stu or anything else
No.
at all. And
And
and it comes back to me walking out of the theater going, how was this the vision? How
right.
was this the script that got greenlit? How was Kevin Williamson, the guy who wrote the original fucking movie, who basically started the genre of teen slashers of the 90s,
Right.
with this, and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Urban Legend, and Valentine, how is that guy giving us this movie? And
Right.
I am just, the more I talk about it, the more baffled I am by it.
Well, I mean, here's the problem, right? Is that it's not the answer is actually kind of obvious and it's sad. It's depressing. It's not even, it's like when I say the answer, it's just gonna be like, yeah, duh, like we know this. You're not fucking wise. But it's just because it's a machine. It's all about making money. It's time to make another Scream movie. There's been enough time between the last movie and this one. It's time to make some more Scream money. And the last few have been successful. And based on the success, they greenlit this movie. Then, because of politics, here we go. The woman, the main Carpenter
Melissa
sister,
Barrera.
thank you, Melissa Barrera, makes some statements about Israel, and then she gets fired. Jenna Ortega leaves because Melissa Barrera is fired. The original director, what?
I don't want.
Good.
I just read the book, and that is a misconception because of timing. I think that Jenna Ortega's leaving actually doesn't have to do with the firing as much as it has to do with she was already committed to, like, I think Wednesday season 2, and she just kind of wanted a break from the franchise, and she saw it as like an opportunity to go. But
Right.
yeah, it's like bang, bang. It's like one thing after another. It was Melissa Barrera's fired, publicly fired. Jenna Ortega leaves. And all of a sudden, your core four is now cut in half.
Right. Right. So let's run with that though for a minute, right? Like you take out the main driving force of the last two movies. The main driving force is that Melissa Barrera, her character is the illegitimate love child of
Billy
what's his face?
Loomis.
Billy Loomis, thank you. And like that's a whole thing. Her grappling with her killer heritage. Is
And
she going to become
apparently, I'm sorry, I keep it, but apparently the original plan for this movie was that she, and I saw this on IMDb, that apparently Skeet Ulrich said it, that the original plan was for Sam Carpenter, Melissa Barrera's character, to, even though I don't really know how it works with how part 6 ended, that she would fully embrace her dark side and she becomes Ghostface.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, like when they revealed it was Matthew Lillard calling her, I thought that was a real ballsy move, and I was like, okay, well, it's not going to be him then; it's going to be AI. As soon as they did that, but then I was like, this would be really fucking ballsy if he was the killer, and then there was no like who is the killer thing, which is in every single Scream movie. That'd be a great random take. But I want to
100%.
go back to the point I was making though, which is that like it's a machine. They want to make money, right? It's Paramount, which is gonna buy fucking Warner Brothers soon. It's like the fucking world we live in, man. But anyway, the the point I'm trying to make is that stories are made if they're a continuation of a story that someone wants to tell, and they're like, well, we need to do this next part because we need to know where this goes. Or they're made because someone's like, I have this amazing idea. I need to tell this story. Let's use this world. Let's use this franchise. Movies are made because they want to make money. And so, like, you have this franchise that was like gaining momentum and going somewhere in a new direction. It was able to survive on its own and not live off of nostalgia, even though there's tons of nostalgia bait in all of these movies. And then all of a sudden, it's like, well, we took out the heart. I guess we're just gonna Weekend at Bernie's make this movie and have the writer from the first movie direct this one and bring back the star who also was absent from the last movie because they weren't willing to pay her enough.
Which I was going to say, which was its own controversy as well, where Nev Campbell, to her credit, felt, look, I am the Scream like I'm not putting those words into her mouth, but she felt like, I am the most important character in the Scream franchise. If you want me in your movie, pay me a fair amount. And they
Right.
were like, well, no, you're not going to be the main character anymore. And she was like, fine, do it without me. So I think it's all of these things where, okay, we're going to go in this brand new direction, but then that direction gets affected by politics. And then you have to double back. Now it's like, okay, we'll go back. We'll pay you what you want. We need you to come back. And it's not just Halloween 2018. They got Ellen Bernstein to come back for the fucking terrible Exorcist Beginner. They cast I forgot her name, but they cast an actress to play Sally Hardesty in the garbage Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022.
Right.
So this concept of when all else fails, break glass and bring back the original final girl is nothing new. I'm half waiting for Sigourney Weaver to be dusted off as Ellen Ripley again. In the
God.
next whatever maybe in the next season of Alien Earth, we'll see a Sigourney Weaver Ripley come out. Maybe we'll see if they ever get another Nightmare on Elm Street back onto the screen. Maybe Heather Langenkamp will show back up somehow as Nancy Thompson.
Right.
And yeah, and apparently, here's the thing. This movie, I read in its opening weekend, made like the most money that the franchise has ever made in its
What?
opening weekend. In its opening weekend, because horror fans are going to go see, Nev Campbell in a Scream movie. I don't know how well this movie is going to do in weeks 2, 3, and beyond.
Right.
I feel
Right.
like this is the type of movie that is going to do banger, but box office opening weekend, and then the combination of it not being screened for critics, Rotten Tomatoes sub 50%, and a lot of negative fan response is going to really deaden its box office as they go into weeks 2 and 3. Like I'm predicting, and I could be wrong, but like the opposite of what happened with Send Help, where Send Help actually did great weeks 2 and 3 because combination of the fact late January, early February, there's not a lot of movies out to go see, but also the rave reviews, great word of mouth. Um, and people were like, oh, sure, let's go see that movie. I didn't see it opening weekend, but it certainly is getting good. A lot of people talking about it. I
Right.
don't know if this movie is going to get that.
Right. Well, I mean, look, Danny, we're 25 minutes in. We haven't even talked about the plot. We haven't talked about any of the characters. We haven't talked about like the
There
story
are no
itself.
characters worth talking about in this movie.
Right. But I mean, I think that just goes along with what we're discussing. It's like it's not the actual story that's important to this movie. It's just the ingredients that they list before. It's like, this movie uses AI quite a bit, right? That's a plot point. And when you make something with AI, which I don't recommend you do artistically, but I mean, we've all done it, is that you type in prompts for what you want to see. You say, I want to see Ghostface, but he's on top of Godzilla and they're sitting on top of a volcano, and he's drinking a Coors Light, right? You type in all this shit and then you submit it. And then what you get back is often not what you're looking for. And this is like, okay, we're going to tell the audience that Nev Campbell's going to be back. Oh, Matthew Lillard's going to be back. It's about her daughter. There's all these things that can like hook people. And I guess according to you with the box office, they did. But then the generated thing is like, it's nothing. You're like, oh, this is it? This is so fucking lame.
Because we're already talking spoilers, there's something that I didn't even think about when I saw the movie. It was part of the like where I was rolling my eyes kind of towards the end.
Yeah.
There's a scene at the end of the movie where we still don't know at this point whether or not Stu is back or whether or not it's some kind of deep fake AI technology. By the way, the last movie I saw in the theater before Scream 7 was Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, where it was also a science fiction action comedy where the enemy is AI. And I feel like that is now going. I really enjoyed that movie, by the way. Everybody should go out and see that. I feel like it's going to be, yes, I agree. AI is bad, but AI is bad as the villain of a horror movie is going to become very old very quickly. We already got Megan's, we already got other spin off Megan movies. Hell, the Mission Impossible franchise.
Yep.
Dead Reckoning parts 1 and 2, after all of these great villains that the Mission Impossible franchise has given us, the big bad of the franchise finale was AI.
Yep.
It's getting old very, very quickly. Speaking of getting old very quickly, just as a note, let's stop. If your birth year starts with a 19, you have to be stopped from being cast as a high schooler anymore.
Oh my God. Yeah.
A couple of the high school friends of Nev Campbell's daughter, who I believe was born in 2000, and was like, when I first saw her, I was like, that girl is at least 23 years old.
Right.
I looked up the ages. I think the youngest person of the high school age crew is McKenna Grace, who plays Hannah, who's a great actress and got like 5 minutes in this movie.
Good point.
She is, I think, the youngest, and she just turned 20. So she was
Okay.
actually probably a teenager when filming, whereas everyone else is closer to 30 than they are to 20.
Right. Well, I mean, like they have this one kid from the Boys spinoff, Gen V, and he's the son of the woman that ends up being one of the Ghostface killers. Like, what I'm gonna remember from this movie is his fucking death, where they like stick his head onto like a spigot for a beer, and then like beer comes out of his mouth. That's like the most memorable part, with the exception of this ending, which is this weird kind of montage of AI generated characters. I know it's the actors. We keep saying AI generated for the sake of the movie. They film these actors, but they're saying it's AI, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing that I wanted to come back to, because
right.
you get this montage of Stu, Matthew Lillard, Scott Foley, who played oh God, what was his?
He's like
Oh,
Sydney's half brother.
see, Roman Bridger from Part 3. Laurie Metcalf, who plays Billy's mom in Part 2, and
Mom,
David Arquette for some reason, who was not a Ghostface killer.
right?
And here's my thing: if you're doing AI, why is Scott Foley 55 years old?
So okay, I actually do have an answer for that question. I think that what they were going for was they're showing these people as if they had aged. Now, Laurie Metcalf looks very similar to the way that she did in Scream 2, but Matthew Lillard, they're making it look like he's aged and he hasn't died. So I think they
He,
did
I
that with.
understand, because for plot purposes, they're trying to hint that he never died.
Right,
But we
right,
know Roman Bridger is dead in
right.
Part
Well,
3.
yeah. Well, the thing that stands out the most about that montage that sucks is that they don't have Mickey in there, who's a really great ghost face. And I know that's because what's his face from fucking Alien Earth? What Timothy Olyphant was probably like, yeah, I'm not touching that at all. Right? They don't have him. And then they don't have any of the other ghost faces either. They just have this random assortment. And I'm sure, I have no doubt it's because these people agreed to be in the movie. They're like, yeah, sure,
Yeah,
I'll
they
do it.
also, Nev Campbell was also in Scream 4. They don't have her
Right,
niece from Scream,
right,
Emma
right.
Roberts from Scream 4 in there. So it's like, it was like a pick your own, like, Ghostface AI puzzle, um,
Right. And
all
it was
to lead up to the reveal of two total strangers who have nothing to do with anybody in like a side plot that comes from a mental institution that happened. I what I would have, I don't even know. It's just like I'm still just floored that that was the reveal.
okay. So all right, let's take it apart. Okay, I totally forgot the actor. I know he's from the '90s, but he's this
Ethan
guy that's
Embry.
Ethan Embry, right? So like he was in like Succession and stuff recently, I think, or whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, so he's in it, and there's that moment where they ask him about Matthew Lillard. They're like, "Oh, have you ever seen this guy?" And he's like, "That's John Doe. He's been in here since like 1990, the late '90s, right?" And so in that moment, you're like, "Oh, this is one of the ghost faces because Matthew Lillard's dead, and this guy's in on the whole scheme. So he's one of them." But then the other
Unless,
one
uh,
is
uh,
that good.
unless the movie had the balls to go all in at that point and say, yes, Stu survived.
Right,
He had amnesia.
right.
He's been in a mental institution, and then maybe you could say that he woke up and he's been like creating one of the early uh ideas was like a cult of Ghostface, and maybe like Stu as somebody who survived Sydney in this institution. Ha-
Yeah, my kid is contacting me with a walkie-talkie, and I can't figure out how to turn it off.
uh,
No, please continue. I'm going to put it under a capture. I want to hear what you're saying though. So one of the
yeah,
ideas was
that like maybe Stu is alive and he's created this cult of Ghostface in a mental institution, and then you can say that Ethan Embry's character, because he works there, he got brainwashed by it and he lets out all the crazies, and that's why there's two, three, four different ghost faces running around. But no, like that's not like it's just two random people who meet for random reasons
right,
and who somehow are, tech savvy enough to come up with very good deep fake, AI technology to, send these Stu related messages to Sydney.
right. And I like the tech part is always kind of like, okay, so they just happen to be like these experts, computer, like they can make these AI deepfakes, like no problem, right? Sure, okay, that's one thing to get over, suspend your disbelief. But like Ghostface is notoriously physical and gets beat up in every single movie. Like he gets hit in the face with a fire extinguisher. I think he gets shot multiple times. they usually brush off the getting shot part where he's wearing a bulletproof vest. But like it's really hard to see these two characters taking that much damage. Usually there's like at least one Ghostface that's like a young kid that's pretty spry. So it's like, okay, that's the one that took all the damage or did all the killing. But like the actress, what's the name of the actress that is the female killer? Who's that?
Anna Camp.
Anna Camp, right? So she's from like Pitch Perfect. She was in True Blood, right?
She was in True Blood, and she was in that show that we watched on Peacock with Bruce Campbell.
Hysteria.
Yes, Hysteria.
That's right. And she played kind of a nutty character on that too. Yeah, okay. But it's like her motivation. What the fuck is her motivation? It's like that she got inspired by Sydney's book, and like, why does that make her want to kill Sydney and her daughter?
She because apparently she got motivated by Sydney's book and then murdered her abusive husband. And then because she murdered her abusive husband, she went away to a mental institution. And so she blames Sydney for her. Pete, it doesn't make any fucking sense. I mean, there's no way. Again, I don't know how somebody in the writer's room, somebody during a table read, didn't stop and go, wait, this is what we're going with? These two?
Right.
And you mentioned, like, obviously, like, the characters and going back to parts 5 and 6. Once half of the core 4 is out of this movie, and once that this movie has decided it's going away from Woodsboro and it's going back to Sidney Prescott, who lives in a different state, in a different town, why on earth does this movie shoehorn the Meeks siblings into this movie?
Right.
Like, literally, there is Deus Ex Courtney Cox in this movie.
Right.
It is one of the, like, she in this movie is worse than the Eagles in the Lord of the Rings. She just shows up while Ghostface is chasing, like, literally halfway through the movie. There's no there's no Courtney Cox, and then all of a sudden she shows up in a van perfectly on time to run over Ghostface.
Right.
And then Jasmine Savoy Brown and Mason Gooding, Mindy and Chad jump out of the van and they're like, we killed a Ghostface again. And I was just like, what? And then they are barely in the movie to the point where they shouldn't have been in the movie.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yes, I do know.
Like, you could have literally written, you could have saved 12 minutes of screen time and had Courtney Cox deliver one line of dialogue where she's like, yeah, you know, those kids need to get their lives back on track. And, you know, they're doing great in New York. Boom, done. I came to see you, Sydney, because we are old friends. We have shared trauma, and I want to be there for you. And like, I get what they were going for with the trauma elements, but again, that's just aping what Halloween 2018 did, and it's just not doing it as well. So it comes off forced and almost fraudulent.
Fraudulent is the key word, man. And I agree with everything you said. However, I think that there's something like missing from this movie completely, and the twins do bring it in just for a very brief time. Like, the whole concept of Scream is based around the idea of characters being aware that they're in a horror movie and then comparing existing horror movies to the scenario that they're in, right? And Jasmine Savoy Brown, that's her name, right? Ty from Yellow Jackets.
Yeah,
her character is fucking fantastic in the last two movies, like, with all this commentary about horror movies, but then like commentaries on this actual franchise too. Where in the last movie she says, I hate this fucking franchise, or like, fuck this franchise. She says something like that. Like, she's great. This movie, there's almost no commentary on movies. To
the point where she goes, this time it's about nostalgia, and Mason Gooding, her brother, turns to her and goes, I thought we weren't doing that this time.
Right. Right.
That's almost like almost winking at the camera, fourth wall break of like, oh, we're not going to do the thing that Scream always does. So it almost feels like, to your point, we don't even have a movie tie-in related state of the film industry justification for this movie. We are just making it for money.
Yes, Danny, I love that point. I love that point. I actually have a metaphor for it that's kind of fun. But it's like you're watching a Transformers movie and Bumblebee's like, hold on a second. He starts going, and then Optimus puts his hand up and he's like, oh, we're not doing that in this one. You know, like, or like in Star Wars, they go to whip out their lightsabers and they're like, no, no, not this time, not this time. We're beyond that. You know, it's like, yeah, you're missing the fucking key thing. Now, they could have dove into it with the AI thing. They could have talked about like, AI sucks. This is going to kill the film industry. AI is involved in the killing of Sydney. You could do that. Dude, the fact that you brought up that fucking insane asylum thing and the idea of like Stu making an insane asylum of ghost faces. That's
Oh, I
so
got a
much
better
better.
one.
What? What?
I have a better movie.
Good.
I okay. If there's if anybody wants to take this plot line and make it, go ahead. Because when I heard they were making this Scream 7, when I heard Matthew Lillard was coming back, this was the idea that went through my head. And I was talking last night. A friend of mine and Athena's who actually made a low budget horror movie a long time ago. I told him this idea and he told me it was a great idea. And I was like, yes. So here's how I would have made Scream 7, sorry. I would have called it, I don't know what I would have called it, but it basically would have been Scream 30, Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And my movie would have been, there is a Scream 30-year convention.
Okay.
All the actors are playing themselves. Matthew Lillard is Matthew Lillard. Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, people who have died in the franchise, they are back. They are on panels. They are doing Q&As. They are signing autographs. There is a hall filled with ghost faces, people in costume, people dressed as the characters to meet their fans. I go to Comic-Con every year. I go to horror conventions all the time. This would have worked. This would have made perfect sense. And then it turns out there is an actual killer hiding in the ghost faces amongst this panel. And the way we found out that there's an actual ghost face is he starts to kill the actual actors in the movie. And I thought that like Matthew Lillard would have been perfect. Like we follow him up the elevator with Nev Campbell. And they could even make like a joke about how like they used to date and, you know, hey, you want to come to my room, Nev? No, you know, come on, blah, blah, blah. And then he goes up to his room and Ghostface is waiting for him. And Matthew Lillard is that opening scream kill moment.
Yeah.
Of like, oh my God, they killed Matthew Lillard. And you go from there. And it's a Wes Craven. Like we were talking last night, me and this guy Mike, about like what better way to pay tribute to the Scream franchise than to go back to the meta narrative that Wes Craven invented, both with New Nightmare and of course with the Scream universe, and just throw it completely on its head.
Yep.
And while at the same time celebrating the entire Scream franchise. You
Right.
know, like
Right.
having Roger Jackson get killed on screen when he's the voice, like he picks up the phone and he hears his own voice being like, wait, what?
Right.
And you could almost have like Ghostface on the phone and he starts doing the Ghostface voice into the
Right.
phone. There's so
Right.
many cool shit. And then I even joked around my I would have had of course two killers, but one of them has to be Jamie Kennedy because he's upset that everybody loved his character, but he was rushed to an early death in the franchise and thus doesn't get, and also his career compared to everybody else's career in the franchise didn't take off as much. You know,
Right.
he goes off, he does Son of Mask, and then he just flounders from there. And so Jamie Kennedy is one of the ghost faces. And then I don't know, pick your random actor from the franchise who
Yeah.
you want, you know.
I mean, Danny, that's fantastic. That's way better than what we got. But I think that the harsh truth is something they say in Scream 6, where they're going over like the rules for like a sequel to the requel. That's what they're talking about when they're outside. And you know, the actress that plays Ty or whatever in Yellow Jackets, she says the franchise is the most important thing, or like the franchise is the heart now. The legacy characters don't matter. Like that's the point. It's just the brand of Scream. Because what you said would be a fitting, perfect tribute to Wes Craven, like a love letter to Wes Craven. Fuck Wes Craven, right? We don't want to do a love letter to an artistic filmmaker. We want to make money, and that's what they did. You know?
Yeah. And I think it's also poetic that before this movie was the trailer for Scary Movie 6.
Oh shit! I didn't see that.
Oh, so yeah, I think it's fitting that the movie that was in the parody that was named for the original title of Scream,
Yeah.
that like started spoofing these movies while they were being made,
Right.
is now getting a reboot with the original cast coming back
Right.
while this movie came out. Like it is, that in and of itself is uh, a, a dialogue about the industry,
Right.
uh, as it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I I thought Nev Campbell was perfectly fine in this movie. I thought some of the kills, like you mentioned, were, especially for this franchise, especially gory and especially almost like Jason and Michael esque. Um, but aside from that, man, not only is this a completely skippable movie, but I don't know what the franchise even does from here if there's anywhere else to go. I'm sure they'll make another one. You know, they did the TV series that was on, I think, MTV or something like
That's right.
that.
On TV. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched like a season and a half of it. Like it was fine. Um, but I don't know what even you do after this.
Yeah.
And I'd be perfectly fine letting this franchise go. You know, like just to give it like a perfect, last year in my top 10 of the year was Final Destination 6, a movie
Mm.
that I don't think anybody was asking for. I think a movie that when we saw it was being made, we said, really? Like another Final Destination movie? And that movie was so much fun
Yep.
and actually like did something interesting with the legacy of the franchise,
Right.
that when it ended, I was like, oh, you know what? Fuck it. Just keep making these. I'll go see
Right.
another one. I will go back every year on cue. I will see another Final Destination movie.
Right.
This movie comes out and I walked out and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I think I'm good.
Right.
I think I'm done. Like, and you know, like Charlotte loves this franchise. Um, loves the Scream movies. And I wanted her to come see the movie with me Thursday. 15-year-old high school student, too tired. No, I don't. I tried to get her yesterday. Hey, you wanna go see it? I was willing to go see this again if it meant taking her to see it. And she was like, I don't know. And like she's hemming and hawing about it. And I'm trying to like hold back my thoughts from her so that it doesn't like persuade her to not go.
Right. Right.
But I want to know what she has to say about this because she really liked 5 and 6.
Right.
Uh, and it, you know, she, you know, for her age group, Jenna Ortega is like a friggin' goddess between
Right.
Wednesday and everything else.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm this movie just really, it's somehow managed. It's funny. A lot of people, I think, thought that the negativity in the reviews was going to be politically based. That people were going to go into this movie going, I wanted Melissa Barrera back, and I'm going to hate this movie and I'm going to pan it, and it doesn't even matter. And the funny thing is that none of that ever crossed my mind because I
Right.
was just so shocked at the movie I was actually watching and that this was the direction that they chose to go in and that those were the killers that they went with.
Right.
And like I said earlier, if everyone on social media can predict your plot points based on one casting decision, you probably shouldn't have made that casting decision because
Yeah.
now that the movie's done with, you didn't bring him back. So he's just, it was all just bullshit.
It, yes. Danny, don't say any more because that's the fucking perfect period on your sentence. It was all just bullshit. That's a good
I
way to
get
sum
that
up
a
the
lot.
scene.
Danny, don't say more. I get that a lot. That's actually
Yeah.
a great epitaph on my fucking tombstone. They'll say, "Here lies Danny. Finally, shut the fuck up."
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, you just put another fucking period on the sentence because that's for our 300th episode, man. That's beautiful. No, 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 no. But here's the thing. I wasn't trying to cut you off. I just think that that's the best summary of it because you're saying they just did a bait and switch. They're like, oh, Matthew Lillard's in this movie. You know it's not Matthew Lillard. Guess what? It wasn't Matthew Lillard. Just
Yeah,
like, good, good. Here's my money. Anyway, but no, I had a lot of fun talking about this with you. I'd actually really like to hear what people thought about this movie in the comments. If you want to tell them what we've got going on our channel, I think we actually have a few things now, right?
yeah. So we are finishing up Twin Peaks: To Return, which you could still watch on Paramount Plus, and we are going. That's probably going to be the next. That'll probably be podcast 301. And also Monarch Legacy of Monsters season 2, right?
Right,
Is this season
right.
2 or 3? 2.
No, two, two,
Uh
two.
yeah, it is premiering. I think it's out now on Apple TV. And we're going to be getting into that very soon as well.
Yeah,
So yeah, we have those are coming up. Aside from Scream and Scream shorts, Scream shorts, I have a short review of Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which not horror, but sci-fi action comedy with a really fun cast and a great Sam Rockwell. So you can check out my short review of that on the channel as well.
directed by a horror director, right? Director of the
Gore
Ring.
Verbinski, yeah.
Yeah, 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 guys. So I mean, I hope you enjoyed this episode, our 300th episode. You can put on your Scream shorts. You can like and subscribe. If you want, you can make some AI deep fakes of Danny X Pete. If you want to, we're all down for it. One love. See you guys next time.